This is a lecture from Open Tuition.
Question 2 deals with two shoe companies which have merged, or rather one has taken over the other. The first one, the small one, Clonyard, small private company, sells shoes to adults and children, several retail shops, and it specialises and has built a very good reputation on providing footwear for those who have specialist needs. Clonyard's staff excel at spending time with customers to determine the correct requirements, and it has achieved modest growth. And this company has been taken over by a large listed company whose mission is to return value consistently to our shareholders through growing market share and offering unrivaled value for money to our customers. And they have essentially merged, and the management of the holding company, if you want to call it, the large company, is trying to impose its trading methods on this smaller company. And you can almost tell, even before you get to the requirements, well, you should read the requirements first, of course, that this is probably not going to work very well. And you are asked, first of all, using the soft elements of McKinsey 7S model to evaluate, and remember evaluate is looking at pluses and minuses, good things, bad things, try to come to some conclusion as to whether things are perhaps going to work well or not, or whether they are, in this case, properly aligned. To evaluate whether they are properly aligned, and to evaluate, again, pluses and minuses, the introduction of a ERPS, an enterprise resource system, into Elrig's overall business, including Clonyard. Thank goodness, maybe, that it actually gives you on the question paper a diagram of the McKinsey 7S model. It's essentially a model which kind of feeds into the ideas of culture and the like. And the diagram also helpfully tells us what the soft elements are, the four soft elements, which are skills, staff, style, and shared values. Taken individually, there's generally not much a problem with these. Obviously, skills is going to be the kind of skills that staff have. Style, maybe the style of the shops, maybe the style of how you make sales, how you talk to customers, and the like. The staff, maybe the age of staff, the training of staff, the motivation of staff, and then the shared values, in a way, under a kind of underlying assumption, really about what's meant by good. You know, what the organisation is there for, what its purpose is, what is regarded as good performance, and what is regarded as bad performance. So taken individually, those are all okay. So there are four S values there, S items there, with 15 marks. So it's 3 to 4 marks for each of those, roughly speaking. The problem is that I think these four soft skills, soft elements, overlap so much. I mean, if you're talking about the skills, the people with the skills are the staff. The people who very much display the style. Okay, you can have different decorations of shops and so on. You can have very traditional, very modern. But really the style that matters is your interaction with the sales assistant. And the skills are in there as well. Does that sales assistant have skills to deal with the minor medical problems that traditional customers of Clonyard have? And then there's the shared values. What is really motivating the staff and the way they sell, the style, if you like, in Clonyard compared to what is really motivating staff in the larger company, Elrig. And they do, as I say, very much overlap. And I think one's problem in writing this, I think the points are fairly easy, but the problem is, if you like, dividing these into the 4 elements and leaving yourself enough to say about each of the elements. And I think you have to work just a little bit hard to try and make each of these as watertight as you could. So when you're talking about skills, you'd be specifically talking about skills in Clonyard, being able to give a very personal service, to fit shoes correctly, if people have slight problems with their feet and so on. That will go over into style. This implies actually spending quite a lot of time with people and not doing the hard sell, absolutely not doing the hard sell. The staff may be slightly older, may be slightly more experienced. I'm making certain assumptions there, but they're going to be making relatively few sales per day, perhaps, compared to maybe a higher value, compared to staff in the other company. They certainly want a different motivation. I think they will have a shared value, again, overlapping almost with the staff. Their shared value is that they've done a good job for that customer. So they would, in a way, be relatively happy spending, half an hour with a customer, and then maybe at the end of the day, both the customer and the staff member agreeing that really they don't have shoes which properly do the job that's required for this customer. Whereas the shared value, or the value, if you like, of the staff in Elrig is probably rather more to kind of keep making the sales, to rank up the sales, rank up the turnover, rank up the profit, so that ultimately this feeds through into value for shareholders. So I think it's going to be a big problem in practice here. I don't think they are going to merge. I think one of the problems will be, although it's not really covered in this question, but you might be able to bring it a little bit in shared values, because we're asked to evaluate if they're properly aligned. And there's a real danger that the large company buying the small specialist Clonyard and imposing its method of trading on this small specialist company giving individual service will destroy value. And by forcing it to align, they will be doing damage. And one wonders, why have they bothered, taking over a small specialist company only to change it? They could have done just as easily by setting up a new branch of their own, rather than presumably paying a premium for the brand name, and then potentially, if they're not very careful, destroying that brand name. The ERPS system, which we have here, the Enterprise Resource Planning System, it's a sophisticated IT system which will keep track of sales for each employee, items in stock, popularity of items in stock. It will know when to reorder items. It'll know the gross profit percentage of each items. It will be able to maybe give advice as to when a particular style is not selling and therefore you should reduce the price to get rid of it, put it in a sale, and so on. I think I would probably approach it by saying that if handled correctly, there will never be anything wrong with an ERPS in any company. A planning system is needed, whether you're a large company or a small company. I think the problems will come in the use to which the RPS is put. So if the large company taking over the small specialist company uses this information to cut down the inventory in the small company, so they don't have a wide range of different styles, say different widths of shoes, which may be needed for good fit to their traditional customer population. If they apply this inappropriately, this information, then I don't think it's going to help the trading prospects of Clonyard. However, as I say, on the other hand, it should be useful, if used in the right way, to salespeople in Clonyard also. They may have some ranges of shoes which don't sell very well at all. They could get rid of that range, yet still keep a wide choice in more successful ranges. It could identify overstocking. It could identify when we need to place orders and the like. It could maybe identify seasonality of sales in particular ways, so that there may be differences. One sort of shop might be driven by season in terms of summer, winter. Another sort of shop may be driven more by style imperatives and have a faster turnover. And it will always be good, I think, to have more information, provided that it's not too expensive to come by, and provided the information is not so comprehensive that nobody makes sense of it, nobody makes use of it. But if it's used sensibly, it ought to be a good thing.